The ability to organize ideas visually is truly powerful. In the past, I've used mind maps and apps like Miro to work through ideas, do research, and as teaching tools, but Scrintal has me really curious. What is it like to learn Scrintal and to create with this visual knowledge management platform? If you're curious about Scrintal and maybe thinking about Scrintal for your own work, check out this video where I recorded myself learning Scrintal while working on a real-life project, designing an interactive set of modules for the student-centered and project-based teaching class that I teach in the Music Learning and Teaching program at Arizona State University. But first, a couple of caveats. I made this video just after Scrintal was released publicly, so it's possible that it's developed and changed since then. Also, this is a live video of my learning process. You'll get a sense of what it's like to learn the app while working on a project, along with my perspectives of using Scrintal for the first time. Everyone's learning process is personal to their own experiences, and knowing that the people I work with have a wide range in terms of how quickly they learn new platforms, I wanted to have a sense of what I could do with Scrintal as someone completely new to the platform. So if you're curious about what it's like to learn and use Scrintal, stay with me and follow along. I'm gonna go to Scrintal. Is it Scrintal.com? I'm not even sure. I think I'll try the desktop app for now and then maybe toggle back and forth. If you have an opinion about this or you have a sense of why you would use one or the other, please let me know. I have a whole bunch of notes of what could happen during the class. Haven't quite decided yet if I want them to be done sequentially or more non-linearly. So we'll see how we go. We're going to use Scrintal as a way to organize it. And then the whole reason I'm using Scrintal in this case is to make it available for the students in the class to interact with as they would with a Miro board or if I had it in a Google Doc. All right, so I guess the first thing I should do is maybe make a card or maybe make a board. This is one thing that I have found confusing about Scrintal so far is when I come in, I know this is the desk, I think. I want to make a new board. I don't know what I'm going to call it yet. We'll just call it PBL Class Playground for now. I could create a table, create free text. Okay. Do I have the ability to change the text? So that would be nice if there was a little text editor here. Okay, so here's, I'm going to be going back and forth between learning Scrintal and thinking about the class that I'm teaching here. Can I move this? Oh, I wish I could. I know it wouldn't make sense to move it out of the app, but wouldn't it be so nice if I could take this and get it out of the window here? This is one of the points that I would make for the class is that if I had been reading about text editors prior to working in the project, it may have been helpful at the time, but it's likely that I would have forgotten it and needed to look it up anyway. But when you're doing a project and everything is contextualized, the skills that you need to learn are sort of emergent in the kinds of things that you're trying to do. So in this case, putting some text up here. Oh, can I adjust the text? I don't know. Let me look. And now I have this information that I can look up and it's sort of in the moment and makes sense. So I think when the free text probably doesn't give you as much options as maybe the cards do. Let's make a card. C. And there we go. Cool. Start here. I could see this whole need to be online to use Scrintal as potentially problematic at times. So here, let's test out. Can I link to this? Okay, cool. Here's the text editor that I was looking for before with the free text. So it's in the cards. I know that this links to, this creates a new card that I can link to. You got it? Let's test it. Yep. Check it out. There it is. Okay, cool. That's pretty cool. And I could here link. I really, really wish that Scrintal had the ability to talk to and interconnect with Obsidian, or even the folder where all my markdown files are, because I could see using both applications like hand in hand. Because here I have tons. If I were in Obsidian right now, I would be linking to these. Now I know I can upload a markdown file to Scrintal, but then from what I understand, I would have my Scrintal version of it and my Obsidian version of it, which is just not going to be okay for the way that I work. And if I was able to access all my existing notes, I would just be linking to individualized learning plan. I would be doing all these kinds of things. Because that's not on here, I would have to create entirely new notes or copy and paste them in, which would be a lot of friction for me. If that's a possibility, Scrintal folks, that would be amazing. And then here I could link to the videos of Scrintal. So let's see here. Cool, Scrintal. Hey, that's pretty cool. The Learning Center playlist. Here we go. So, you know, I'm learning how to use Scrintal as we're going. I'm finding links here. Uh-oh. Now, do I have the ability to lock things like in Miro? I'm operating from a Miro metaphor. Oh. So is this what people see? And now why can't I? Okay. Can I make this bigger? No. Or maybe I can, I just don't know how yet. So I just right-clicked here. What I don't know is what people will see when I share this with them. If I double-click on it, it pops it up in sort of like a view or edit mode, which is nice. Oh, and check this out. This is nice because it tells me where it appears. And then when I get rid of it, it doesn't delete the card. I guess if I wanted to delete it, I would go to here. This is actually much easier to look at 188 zoom. So I would recommend that to people. I'm trying to figure out how intuitive is it to figure out what to do here. Like, will people know to double click? And if they don't double click, what I'm trying to do, I'm trying to like scroll in the note, but you can't do that because I'm scrolling the whole screen here. I'm gonna have to put start here, double click. So I think what I'll eventually do is this will have a sort of menu. I'm thinking of like choose your own adventures. So I remember that I can use some markdown. That's a lot of cool options there. Oh my gosh. The interface is a little confusing to me. I have to be honest. I have to get used to this. One of the things I want people to do. Okay, so I have 2 cards here, or this sort of introduction card for students to come to. This is start here, and this review for synthesis card. I went ahead and published this just to see what it looks like before I got too far along. And one of the things that I appreciate from Scrintal, at least I think this is the case, is it's more of an unlisted published thing. So I have the link that I can share with my class so that they can all publicly access it. I could manually add everyone's email addresses. What I'm not sure of is if there is a way to unpublish. That was not very clear. To update, you do have to hit the publish board button again, but the URL link will remain the same. I still would love for there to be an option to, you know, go to the publish board and have an unpublish so that it takes away the public aspect of it, so then I can choose to instead share manually. But so far, this is helpful. The other thing that I noticed when I went to the published version of it was that the people who are visiting the board can actually move the notes around, and I have from past experience in working with Miro and in classes, that just can get really messy. Like someone can go ahead and accidentally drag it all the way in.
Where did it go? Where is it?
And then other people might not be able to find it. So again, I'm going to go back to Miro. The ability to lock notes into place or lock cards into place would be really helpful. That might be already an option, but I didn't see it obviously. Like if I could right click on this and lock it into place so that when I share it, someone can hover over it and not accidentally move it around, that would be really helpful. I now have a new card, and so you can see here I have a starting point. I have review for synthesis, and then I have apply synthesized principles, ideas, and approaches to a teaching context. So I have these 3 cards. What I'm doing now is, instead of a sort of mind map approach, I could use that, or I could think of this as a mind map approach. I'm just kind of placing this here, and then I'm going to do my first explicit kind of connection between cards. So I'm going to double click on this one, and then I have them putting their visualizations into the Miro board, and then I'll link to that, and then I'll put next step. Okay, so I'm going to try 2 different approaches. When I'm in Obsidian, which is my sort of note-making app of choice, I often will start typing, and then I'll do a double bracket here, and then it'll start to find the thing that I'm looking for. There's not really, I don't think there is that kind of process with Markdown at least. So what I'm going to try is, I think what that did is it added a new card called next step, which is not what I wanted. Delete that. Yeah. Okay, that's weird. How do I undo that? That's not what I want. What I want to do is link it to a card. Like I want to link it to here. So it's taking me a bit of time to figure this out. I don't know how to undo this link that goes to nowhere now. All right, Now time to go to the info. I'm gonna do my shift escape. Let's go to Learning Center. How to link cards. Let's do this one. Okay, so what I learned is that I can hit this create new card. The other thing I can do is I could use the keyboard command do this, and I think this is what makes it easier. Instead of hitting the link, I can do plus, and then I can search in my archive, apply synthesized principles, ideas, approaches to a teaching context. So that now links to that. Yep, it links to there. Now does this link back? Backlinks, review for synthesis. I could see how this might eventually be confusing to people where they see this here, and then the card is opening here, rather than it opening here. But I can understand why that happens, because the cards that you're linking to are who knows where they'll be located eventually when you have it really big. Okay, so we know that review for synthesis goes to apply synthesized principles. I do want everything to go back to this here. Now, here's another thing that I would like to be able to do. When I'm using Obsidian, I can do the thing where I link to, so now that I know that I can link to here, I'm going to review for synthesis. I could do this thing where I could change the way it looks by putting in Markdown, I could put the little pipe and say reviewing for synthesis. So this just looks it's just a little awkward is all. It's not like a big deal, but there are going to be times where I want to write something and have it link. So let's try doing this. Start by reviewing material from class for synthesis. And then I'm going to highlight over this. I'm going to hit the plus button. That didn't work. What I want to do is I want to use this as the way to link to the other note. Can I use Markdown here? No. Oh no. Is there a way to undo that? Yeah, I haven't quite figured out how to. So I want to link to the appropriate note. This, I think, is only external links. Okay. This is similar to Miro. Let's try this. This is a little bit cumbersome, I would have to say, but I'm going to go to here, review for synthesis, double click, go here, copy link to card, then I'm going to go here, start by reviewing materials from synthesis. I'm going to go to the hyperlink. Let's see if this works. Nope. That just opens up a whole new board, which is kind of interesting, but that's not what I wanted. All right, so this is good. Like, I've hit a little bit of that frustration level that I'm sure many students are going to when they're in their projects. So right now, the internal resources for Scrintal are actually quite helpful. I think they're very clear in the Learning Center here. I'm going to go back to how to link cards and just make sure that I'm not missing something. So I watched the how to link cards video again. And as far as I can see right now, where I'm at is I don't see a way. I'm not saying there isn't a way. It's just I haven't found the way yet to take something that I wrote and create a backlink or a link to another card that has a different name. So like I don't have an internal hyperlink ability to go to an existing note that has a different name, which for me is actually quite important because I do a lot of that kind of thing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go look online a bit and see if I can find a video on how to do that or a resource on how to do that. And if not, I would just say to Scrintal that would be like a great feature for there to be a way for you to choose a phrase or something that you're writing in your card and then be able to link to another card that has a different title or a different name. And maybe that already exists. So I'm going to check it out now and I'll let you know what happens. Okay, so I watched a couple of videos and I still can't figure out how to have a phrase and then have it go to an existing card. And then I know that I have review for synthesis here. It's very fast. I love the hover over. That's cool. I just right clicked on that and it opened it. So it does show you, I like kind of it makes the arrow. So now there's this nice flow here. You can go here, review for the synthesis. Take the next step where it opens here. I could see this getting cluttered pretty quickly. For people who are not used to this, I think this eventually could be a little confusing, especially once you start to have a lot of stuff down there. But so far the flow here is nice. Another feature that I think would be nice is I would like the ability to kind of make things look smaller or bigger so that's not all exactly the same size. Okay, so far in class, people will start here, read this, they'll do some review for synthesis, and then they'll apply their synthesis. Actually, let's use this as an opportunity to link to a YouTube video. So how does that work? I want to share. All right, so let's see how this works. I'm assuming everything needs to be in a card here. On Miro, I could just copy and paste it in and it would put the video in there. I really love that feature, but I understand that everything here is supposed to be in a card. So I'm going to make a new card. Oh, I just pasted it. That's what I did. Maybe I didn't need a slash. So engage with this video. I'm just going to paste it and see what happens. Yeah, that's nice. Very similar to Miro, where I can just paste it, it embeds it in there. I wish I could make this bigger. To access it though, I do have to double click on the card and then I can watch the video from in here. I do like that it embeds it in there. I don't have to send people to go onto YouTube. It's nice that it's right there. This is cool. It has a little extract into a separate card pop out here. That's really neat. Scrintal has a whole video on keeping flow, and it's all about how you can have PDFs and video files sort of in your document so that as you're doing things, I could drag that around. Sorry about that. So I'm going to add a little bit of additional context here. So engage with this video. So just to emphasize how important it is to me to be able to link text in a card to a card without having to use that card's title. Here's a great example of so I'm putting an assignment for the class or an invitation to explore ideas. Put the ideas from the video into dialogue with your synthesis work. And then I want to be able to link from here to the review for synthesis card. And again, I can't figure out how to do that because when I go like this, it wants to create a brand new note. It's not giving me the option to change it. And then it does that weird thing where it still thinks that it should be linked. I don't really haven't figured out how to undo that either. So that's a little wonky. But what I really want to be able to do is, because if I put the ideas from the video into dialogue with your review for synthesis, it's just this breaks up flow. And then here's where I would put the plus. I'll have to come afterwards and put this in parentheses. I'm getting the hang of this. I'm learning how to use it. Thinking back to how I use Obsidian, I have so many notes that I will forget what they're called. So I often go to the left part of my screen so I can scroll down to find things that exist because I can't always recall it right in my memory. And right here, I'm searching in my archive. I just made this card just a couple of minutes ago, and I already am
what's that called again?
Is it embed? Is it engage? And it's called engage with this video. So it is finding things, but once I have a ton of cards in here, that could be cumbersome as well. This is cool. I like this, and I like this. I don't want to say better than a mind map yet. If there is a way to group these, yep. So what I did is I clicked on here, shift, and I can move this around. I do like the way that the arrows, it reminds me a little bit of OmniGraffle. That's pretty cool. So I could say start here, go to here, or go to here. This is very connected. And then at some point you're going to go over here. And then I can also, and then eventually when they take that synthesis, once it's in my dialogue with this video, they would be applying the synthesized principle. So I now have a nice little module here made of different cards. Hey everyone, I'm Evan Tobias. I'm on the Music Learning and Teaching faculty at Arizona State University, and I support music educators of all kinds imagine possibilities for music learning and teaching and then make those possibilities a reality.